Welcome to another edition of South Center's Chat. We have a special guest all the way from Kazakhstan as our guest on the show. Please stay tuned. We're going to be right back. Welcome once again to South Center's Chat. My name is Tom Worley. I serve as director at Ohio State University's South Centers in Piketon, Ohio. And today we have a very special guest from the other side of the world, actually about 12 time zones away in Kazakhstan. And it's Professor of Plant Pathology, Dr. Yerlan Dutbayev. And we welcome you to our show today, Professor Yerlan, if I can use it that way. We're delighted to have you join us today. And maybe a good way to start out would be if you cared to share just a little bit of your personal background academically to kind of set the stage here as to how you became a professor and a researcher at the Kazakhstan Agrarian University.
Thank you very much, Tom. Nice to meet you. My name is Dutbayev Yerlan. I am an associate professor of Department of Plant Protection of Kazakh National Agrarian Research University. My research focused on plant pathology, plant physiology, response of plants to biotic and abiotic factors, and environmental protection. In 2017, I won the state internship to the Michigan State University as a visiting professor for 8 months. In 2020, I published my internship manuscript in Scopus with grateful thanks to Dr. Rafiq. He helped me. In 1996, I graduated Kazakh State Institute or University on the specialty of plant protection. As I got my bachelor degree. In 2005, I had Ph.D. degree in plant pathology and plant protection. My working background, about first my 12 years, I have been working on Department of Plant Protection of Kazakh Institute of Plant Protection. And after it, I during 5 years was working for Institute of Botany and Phytointroduction. Since 2011, I am associate professor of plant protection Department of Kazakh National Agrarian Research University. Now I'm working with my several graduate students, including graduate students and PhD students. I am teaching several courses, especially this year. I started, I got some foreign students. It's quite very interesting to try teaching English. Now I am continuing studying my English classes. Now I'm my 4th month of one international courses, trying to improve my academic English.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
You mentioned, I think in a prior conversation, that you had several students that have come to America to study as part of their program. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Not yet several. I sent to Dr. Rafiq one of my students. He is going to defend his PhD dissertation, but my next student, Miss Aydana Kharibzhanova, going to apply to Ohio State University by Bolashak program. Perhaps she will get this internship.
Right.
I hope she will get it. Yes.
Right, right. Well, Professor, your background is obviously goes back a ways, and lots of experience, and the collaboration between your university and yourself as the representative in America. I want to introduce Dr. Rafiq Islam, that is on the program today. And Rafiq is our program leader for soil, water, and bioenergy resources, and very active internationally, collaborating in many countries. And one of the most recent is with Kazakhstan. And Dr. Rafiq is the reason we're able to make the connection with Professor Dutbayev today. So welcome, Rafiq. And I think it might be well if you wanted to pick up about the collaborative project that took you to Kazakhstan back in 2019, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tom. I was in Kazakhstan 2019 because we wrote a grant, a collaborative grant to work in Kazakhstan with Kazakh National Agrarian University and Ohio State University. And that project was funded by American Embassy in Kazakhstan and also American Council for International Education. And the project was mainly to develop and improve and strengthen Kazakh academic and research program. Mm. And Professor Dutbayev was one of the PIs from Kazakhstan and did an excellent job. And with his collaboration and cooperation, we went to Kazakhstan with Bo Engel from our international office and another professor from Worcester. So three of us, we went there and discussed and participated in different programs and developed some ideas and improved their course content and also the professional development with emphasis on institutional capacity.
Well, our agriculture in America, you know, in terms of technology and advancement, you know, in terms of trying to share some of the things as well as learn from what is, you know, other lands, as in Kazakhstan, and the research that is being done, that two-way collaboration is so important. And I think that there's nothing more basic than food production, that the world needs a sustainable and ready supply of food. And collaboration like this is aimed at that. And I think when we come together around food, right down to having lunch together or dinner together, there's a kind of a brotherhood, if you will, that brings us all to the common point that we all depend upon nutrition and so forth for our very survival. And then to be part of that whole system, as you and Professor Dutbayev, to share the experience and to show each other how things happen in each other's country, I think is a wonderful thing. So, Professor, maybe we'd come back, and I know we just kind of got into the project pretty fast, but it might be good for the audience to hear just a little bit about agriculture in general in Kazakhstan and the major crops and just an overview of agriculture and the different crops that you work on and do research in.
No, Kazakhstan has very big territory. It's number 9 in the world. Yes, but population is too low, about 18 million persons. That's why we don't need perhaps high wild. Here, it's a good opportunity to grow natural food. I forgot how it organic food in America, basically.
Mhm, mhm.
Yes, it's a good opportunity because very huge territory, and you don't need to use new technologies of science. Yes.
Mhm.
Here, about 12 million hectares of wheat. It's mostly located in northern region, in Almaty and in southern region, mostly horticultural zone, apples, grapes, ape, pears, and other European crops,
Mhm.
for example, and traditional vegetables. And neighbor Uzbekistan country, it's a subtropical zone. Here, it's a continental zone, and crops like in Europe.
But wheat would be the major field crop, cereal grain that you grow
Yes,
in Kazakhstan.
wheat, about 70% wheat is grown in northern region, northern and central region, about 12 to 15 million crops with other cereals.
And is wheat a crop that you study and do research on diseases of wheat?
For me, doesn't matter. I had a project on soil-borne pathogens of soybean, and
Soybean.
For pathogens of barley. Yes, for plant pathology, it doesn't matter. For example, you make some pathogenic test and make genetic identification, and there do some pictures, do some experiment. That's why for plant pathology, doesn't matter which crop you are doing. Sometimes here some limitations in good technology like in America and good specialists. For me, it was very great opportunity to get new technology from US university. For me, I was really amazed, of course, when I studied at Michigan State University. And now, of course, it's all dependent of my internship in the US. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Hey, one of the things about Kazakhstan that I just learned is the popularity and the number of horses that the country possessed back in the earlier days, but still remains many animals and lots and lots of horses. I don't know, you can comment and tell us a little bit more about that background.
For example, in the US, you don't eat horses. In Kazakhstan, you can drink the milk, kumis. It's fermented horse's milk, which doing by specific technology. And of course, dishes from Kazakh, perhaps for foreigners, of course, for you might be specific, but for me, delicious.
Yes, and I understand that with your grandfather's farm, I think there are still horses.
No. My grandfather was a small farmer, retired during retirement. My father is surgeon. Yes.
I see.
Medical surgeon. Yes.
Very well.
All my member of my family is usually working in medicine.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't enter to medical US, but I get to agricultural.
well, you have, like lots of us in America, you know, we have roots in agriculture but are not necessarily directly involved, you know, in this generation, nearly like our parents, grandparents, and going back. That's part of the process, it seems like, of development that takes fewer and fewer people to do the work of agriculture, and the actual production can be accomplished with relatively a small percentage of the population based on using and adopting new technology. So Kazakhstan is no doubt in that process and well along the way. Addition. Rafiq actually got to visit there. So Rafiq, you might want to follow up on what you did and the program that Professor Dutbayev led for the U.S. delegation, actually the Ohio State delegation of 3 folks, that you did really a cross-section of lab and teaching and seminars while you were there, and then have continued, as you mentioned, writing some things and proposals. So you and Professor might want to talk about those things a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Yeah, I went to Kazakhstan twice. First time through the project, and then because of our performance, project performance especially, they invited us again to be the conference speaker. Me and Dr. Professor Aradia from Worcester, he's an animal science professor. So he talked about animal science disease and how that could be improved. And I talked about climate change, how climate change would affect Kazakhstan and its food production and its soil health and what needs to be done. This is one of the largest countries in the world. And that's what American Embassy wants us to actively involve with the professor and researchers in Kazakhstan, starting from the root level. And that's why Professor Yerlan was with us and his student and some of his colleagues. And through this project, which was funded by American Embassy and American Council for International Education, that how Ohio State can help professional development of Kazakh faculty members and universities' institutional capacity and develop sandwich program. And they have a program called Bolashek program. Bolashek. Bolashek is an exchange program funding provided by Kazakh government. So under that plan, they want to send Ohio State their graduate students, undergraduate students, and postdoc and faculty members for professional development. And recently, one of their professor, that Bagzan, is coming to Ohio State. We are processing his paper. International office is processing his paper. He's a professor of soil science, and he got 6 months fellowship, postdoctoral fellowship from Kazakh government to visit Ohio State. And Professor Dutbayev helped his colleague, Dr. Jagipa, and interacted with me to write grants, a Borlaug, USDA Borlaug Fellowship grant, and she received that. And she came to Kazakhstan from their university. It was because of Dr. Dutbayev. And then Nurlan Kuldaev also worked with him on plant pathology and worked in our lab and went back and got his PhD degree under his supervision. Another student he recruited, Azhar Gul. So originally from Xinjiang province, that is Uyghur, citizen, and she came to Kazakhstan to complete her research. So Dr. Dutbayev helped her, and I'm serving as her external supervisor to work on climate smart agriculture in Uzbekistan, how to improve the drought tolerance, salinity tolerance of wheat. So all because of Dr. Dutbayev, he connected, and his wife is also a plant pathologist. So they have a team to work with us, and we are writing number of manuscript, and we are going to write few more proposals. so that we can interact more and more. So
many things, from an initial project, it sounds like many things are developing and lots of opportunities to continue the collaboration. And I think the institution, the university, is one of the, or if not the top university, it's in the capital city of Kazakhstan. Am I understanding that right,
Yes.
Professor?
it is one of the oldest agricultural university in Kazakhstan and the then Soviet Union. Ushtar, Ohio State University in Ushtar, to work with Professor Aradia funded through our project. So, so actually, basically, we brought 2 Kazakh professors and scientists to work at Ohio State University. And we helped another person to join and work at Washington State University. So our project was one of the successful projects in Kazakhstan. And that's why they have their administration, we know them very personally, and they're very close to us. And anything they're going to do, they ask Ohio State first what we are going to do. And one of their students, that Dr. Nurlan, who visited Ohio State, and you interviewed him, and his video is posted on university website and also American Embassy in Kazakhstan and also American Council for International Education.
Great, very well.
Nobody did that before, this kind of video to be developed through exchange program.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Can I continue?
Sure.
With this project, I started to collaborate with Illinois University 2 years ago. Dr. Professor Babadus, my colleague, won project on updating curricula in our department, and I firstly worked for American University. They hired me. Yes.
That's great.
Project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like, things have branched out. We're great and pleased that Ohio State University is involved, but you've mentioning other places, that Illinois and Washington State.
Yeah.
So a good cross section. And of course, I happen to have some experience out in the state of Washington, which is a very huge wheat growing region of our country. Not as much maybe as Kansas. We think of that for the bread type of wheat, but soft white wheat in Washington goes to cookies and pastries, that sort of thing. It's a different type of wheat that they grow. And as you would be well aware, I'm not sure just what types of wheat are grown in Kazakhstan, but there are a variety of different types that are used for different purposes. And so there's a lot of work in the northwest part of the country to greater utilize and improve varieties and yields and so forth of these specialized types of wheat. So have you hosted other U.S. delegations to your university besides Dr. Islam and Bo Engel and our third animal sciences?
Now, here COVID-19 epidemics. That's why sometimes we host visitors online. For example, Professor Babadus, he won a proposal from American Embassy, but he led online. I did this work here.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
I know
for the last 2 years online.
Yeah, we're all kind of under the same travel restrictions. I think over the last couple of years, it's kind of curtailed the opportunity to go back and forth. But as we move beyond this, we hope that those opportunities will continue. And we understand that there are a lot of beautiful regions and places in Kazakhstan that I think you even mentioned you have something comparable to the Grand Canyon that you have that is popular to visit over there. But the only thing I understand Kazakhstan does not have is any kind of a seacoast, that you're a landlocked country, that there are no shores of Kazakhstan.
I think our territory has a climate like in Michigan or in Ohio, perhaps.
Okay.
perhaps Chicago.
You might be even a bit north in latitude in general than us. Yeah, which explains the emphasis in wheat production, which tends to tolerate a little bit colder temperatures than in our southern part of our country.
Yeah, the wheat has only 110 days for growing.
Okay. It's growing season, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So not terribly much corn in Kazakhstan.
Perhaps in the south here we have some corn, but in the northern small grains.
Would you explain in short about Kazakhstan, some of the important cities and places, so that audience can learn more about Kazakhstan?
Yes, here you can a lot of territory here about 2 Sea in the west, Caspy, Aral Sea. In the north you can see steppe zone. In the west, desert zones. In the southern, it's a mountain and pre-mountain zones. Grape, apple, pear, all fruits and vegetables, white grown here. In the southern here, grown usually winter cereal, small grains. In the north, only spring forms and triticale. Yes.
Well, Professor Yerlan, we've just exhausted our time. I know it's going very, very quickly.
Yes, perhaps it's my first experience, and for me, it's very brainstorming.
We have just time to thank Professor Yerlan Dutbayev and Dr. Rafiq Islam as our guests today, and to learn a little bit more about agriculture in Kazakhstan and the research and the collaboration between the university there and Ohio State University. We certainly thank you for your time. We look forward to staying in touch and growing our friendship and relationship through food and agriculture collaboration into the future.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
So at this point, we'll sign off on this edition of South Center's Chat. We hope to see you back real soon.